right, so in this example, we're going to show how to apply the over excavation function of Business Center. So in areas in certain construction projects, obviously you got retaining walls where you got to offset it back and over excavate an area, and they typically want to determine how much material it is that you're going to over excavate. In this example, I'm going to kind of assume and simulate that we've got this area that is going to go in our building, and maybe it's got some contaminated soils, and we need to take that down but farther than what the subgrade adjustment is. So our subgrade adjustment for our building was only about 12 inches. So you can see here, this is our subgrade. If I go to surfaces and I turn on the finished design, you'll see that our finished design is this top line, and that's our building pad. And then here's our subgrade adjusted surface was created. If we look here, we can see it's dropped down and accommodated for our thicknesses of our building. Okay, so there's our subgrade. We've got our existing ground we're showing, and our rock surface we're showing here, which you see rock is in gray and then the original ground is green here. So if we only dig down for that, then we're not going to we're going to fill this area over in here as well. All right, we're going to fill that. So we're not digging the original ground here. But let's just assume that we got some contaminated soil. So we need to go actually dig further down in this area. So we want to account for that. So if we go to the over excavation command, we specify the over excavation. So let's say that we want to have at least we got to dig down 10 feet. Minimum beneath the existing ground, let's just go say is 5. We want to select the boundary that represents the area that we're concerned with, which is this line that we have, and that could come from the engineer or a surveyor or whoever located, or even the plans that said this is the area. We've got some contamination soil from our boring logs and we need to remove it, and this is the area that you need to be concerned with. We're going to put a maximum depth beneath the ground, so we'll go ahead and say no more than 20, and we're going to limit it to the stratum. So in here we want to limit it to the rock. So if I'm greater than 10 or 20 feet here, I don't want to excavate below the rock in this area. Okay. So when I do that, I'm going to hit close, and I'm going to go ahead and I could build the surfaces or run the takeoff report. If I run the takeoff report, it's going to build the surfaces automatically and then give me the report. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm just going to go ahead and just build the surfaces, and you'll see here we're going to get another surface that'll get created in the software or in the project. So what this is doing, and it's going to take a while, and actually I think I forgot to add the area. I did. So let's just go back to over excavation. I got my parameters. I selected the line, but I never added it. So make sure you add it to the limit. So even though it's selected, you got to add it. All right, so I'm gonna hit close. Everything's good there, and let's build the surfaces. I thought that went a little too quick. If it goes that quick and it doesn't show the over excavation surface, then something was wrong. Because what this has to do is it's taking the rock surface, it's taking the finished design with subgrade adjusted surface, taking the original ground surface, and taking the boundary here, and it's combining all these surfaces and adjusting them based on the values that we put in. So it's dropping it down for the 10 feet, minimum to 5 feet. It's basically combining a bunch of surfaces together, trimming out the edges and the holes, and creating another surface. So you're going to see here that we're going to get an over excavation surface built in this project. So I can see here that I've got this surface over excavation, and if I select it, you can see that now I've got a hole that's been cut in our existing ground surface, which is what's right there. Okay. If I come over here and we turn on that surface in this view, you'll see it in the surface slicer. So here's where I'm cutting out that area. Okay, so there's my over excavation. It's got at least a minimum of 5 here. It's got the 10 that I need there. It's cutting it across, and then it's at least in this area. I'm well below my surface, so it's adjusting for it. So it's creating that additional surface for me. And then up in here in the rock, it's not doing any excavation in that area. So it's tying back into the finished ground here where it's as far as I have to go. But here, we have to account for that. So there's the surface, and if I wanted to, I could also simply pick on this line string because it does represent the whole surface, and I can add that as a boundary because this over X is another surface. So if I go to surface boundaries and we add that to that surface, it's going to rebuild the surface. So again, it's going to take a few minutes. But again, I'm doing this just for a visual. So because everything else is, basically it's creating another surface going all the way out. If I just want to see this hole and see a surface of this over excavation, I just wanted to show you that you can apply a boundary to it for visualization purposes, and it won't affect your volumes. Now, if I run the report, like I said, it will report the over excavation information within the report. All right. So now if I click this here, you'll see it's just that surface being shown there. All right. So there's the over excavation surface within my project. All right. So I can see where it's been excavated to. So even in this area, I'm excavating, even though I don't have to cut it for my project. I'm accounting for it based on the parameters that I set up. So that's how you apply the over excavation to your project.